But yeah, tell me about even why you and Jada decided to do that.
So I don't even know how it developed as a thing. I know when we got married, we were trying to decide, what church we were going to get married, and were we going to get married in Baltimore or Philly, and who was going to be the priest, so Gammy had a different religious background than Gigi, so we were trying to figure all of that kind of stuff out, and Jada didn't want to do any of that. Jada wanted for she and I to go to a mountain, and, pledge our love and devotion to one another, to God, without, she felt like we weren't going to adhere to this specific religious tradition. We would just be picking it for her mother or my grandmother or something to try to figure that out. So I think the discussion about the religious background we would raise our children in is what came up when we first got married. And she grew up in a thing called the Ethical Society in Baltimore, and they would honor the different religions. And my background, I grew up, I went to a Baptist church. I went to a Catholic school. And somewhere in that first decade of our marriage, we were like, oh, wouldn't it be hot if we could say that we had read cover to cover all of the major holy books. And we started with the Bible, and I just remember seeing her Bible was marked. You know how I do my books now. You see how all my books are highlighted all the way through. And, she completed the entire Bible, 7 months before me. Right? So now it's on, right? So then when it came to time for the Quran, I was like, I wanted to win. Yeah. Right? But, so we would take a year and we would study all of these traditions as really as a way of the two of us bonding spiritually and intellectually around the concepts. And we went through Kabbalah and Scientology. And really what was happening is every time I would meet someone who was of a different tradition, I would allow that person to introduce me to what their tradition was. And then I did Ali. And so we circled back around to the Quran during that time. But we really just, we love the idea of spirituality and the study of the love of God. We don't necessarily believe in organized religion. We believe that the organizations kind of jump ahead of the spirituality. The Church of Christ is very different than Christ. The steps that Christ actually walked. So we started to notice those kinds of differences, and we really just wanted to find the truth. What is the truth? And you see how my whole family dives in. The kids are doing it now, with the Gita. And it's really just trying to find our way, in this world.
Yeah, and I love that, and I was so fascinated by that myself because I saw that within myself. Mm-hmm. And so when I saw it with you and the family, I was so drawn to that because, I think that a lot of what we're trying to figure out in today's world has been suffered for long enough in an internal way that when you're diving into these books of wisdom, there's just so much there to unearth. Because people have been through the same challenges for decades and decades and decades.
The problems have already been solved.
Yeah, and lived for long enough.
And solved,
Yeah.
And at the core, of all of the, the spiritual teachings that I've ever studied, at the core of all of the ideas, how you treat your neighbor is central, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yet somehow people manage to twist, in all the faiths and all backgrounds,
Totally.
people do unto others as you would have them do unto you is very clear. If you ask yourself that question, well, in this situation, how would I have them do unto me? And you did that, you'd never have a problem. Because the answer is never going to be, I think they should curse me out and spit on me and whoop my ass because I was tripping. It's like, you just, I mean, I guess somebody
maybe. No. I think you're right. I think you're right.
If I were in this situation, how would I want them to treat me?
Yeah.
Right?
It's huge. It's the most simple, yet the most profound.
Most profound.
Our teachers in the ashram would always tell us, and I've said this to you before, but they'd always tell us that these principles, you'll learn them on day one, you'll think that you know them on day two, but you spend your whole life trying to realize them.
Yes.
And that's the challenge with us, that we take what we learn on day one and what we know on day two to be like, I already know that.
Yes, exactly.
And then the teaching doesn't, what I love about what we've been doing is like, the teaching gets to like reveal itself to you. It's like, it's always opening up. It's like a lotus flower. It's always blooming. It's not like, oh, it's open now, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's like always opening up to you. And if you give it that time and patience, then you can truly see it grow and bloom into something. But if you just try and force it open, it just, I mean, if you forced a flower open, it would just break. And that's what happens.
What I say to you all the time is, so to give people a sense of it. So we were doing, 2 to 4 hours a day, a few days a week for months.
For months, yeah.
For months, and we were spending as much time together as we would spend with our families or other things. So we've logged some real hours in this last year. And the thing that was always amazing to me is that we could take 8 hours, right? And we spend it and we get it and we study, we do all of that. And you leave my house and I pick up my phone, how quickly somebody could snatch me. I was like, and it really is a serious moment-to-moment practice to remember to be nice to people. When you get sucked back into the foolishness so hard and so fast,